So we're about 2 weeks into this new NBA season, and the ratings thus far have not been good by their standards or really anybody's standards. And quite honestly, the biggest story and the biggest star of this basketball year still continues to be Caitlin Clark. Because as it's come out now, when you look at the NBA's performances on broadcast television, on national television, their games have not been rated as well as Caitlin's have, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. Um, Now, look, and believe me, I'll be the first to tell you the NBA are very willing participants in this as well. They have killed their brand. They have done so many things wrong. I'll get into Caitlyn in a second, and just what this means for her as being amazing. Because, I mean, no matter what, who would have ever thought in a million billion years that a player in the WNBA would have games for an entire season that would average better than the first 2 weeks of an NBA season, even with the competition they have to go against. That says a lot, but it also just shows how far the NBA has fallen. Now, you could point to a million things, and they've been talked about ad nauseum. You know, obviously the political stuff, nobody wants to talk about that. We're a day away from the election, and thank goodness I'm ready for the election to be over with, figure out who it's going to be, and move on with the next 4 years of our lives. But that's just me. That's the way I see things. I don't want to hear about it. I especially don't hear athletes talking about it. You know, I don't want to hear these people making all this money, you know, tens of $1,000,000 a year telling me about who I need to vote for my life, how I'm going to live my life, who's going to have the biggest impact on the economy. I just went to the grocery store, bought a very few things, I paid $72 on a $50,000 a year salary, if that. So I don't want to hear about that. So yes, the politicalness has turned people off. The players themselves are just as boring as the day is long, the new ones at least. They're obviously a huge foreign influx of players, and look, I have nothing against foreign players. I'm glad when they come here. Hakeem Olajuwon is one of my favorite players ever to watch. I love his mixtapes. He's from Nigeria, very much a foreign player, and I think he gets lost in the shuffle historically. I mean, when you look at his impact on the offensive end and his impact on the defensive end, you got to put him in the top five ever. I truly feel that way, and I'll argue with people all day about that one. With, you know, obviously Michael and Russell and Kareem and Kobe, you know, you got to put Hakeem in there. I think just because on both sides of the floor he did what needed to be done. He never had a team around him, a great team around him, and he still won 2 championships. But yeah, the foreign players just they're not bringing the audience in. They've not been marketed well. You know, Victor Wembanyama is probably going to have one of the legendary careers ever, and they've not really marketed him. His game's not that exciting. That's another thing. These foreign players, their game's just not that exciting. You know, Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic, Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, I have the utmost respect for those guys, but I don't want to sit down and watch them play. I really don't. Dirk, I loved. I loved watching Dirk play. So I'd love watching Hakeem play. But man, this new breed, I don't know. You know, they want to say, you know, having white players is going to, you know, bring in more of an audience, or they want to blame Caitlin Clark's, or not blame, but I guess credit Caitlin Clark's rating success to her being white. Well, how come a league where the two best players are two very white European players, in Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic, how come they're doing so bad right now? How come she herself is outdoing this league that's been a staple for so long? But yeah, I mean, like I said, the reasons for the NBA, you know, the foreign players, like I just said, the politics, and God almighty, the load management. You got to stop that. They've got to go put something in there, you know, where you just do not get paid if you don't play. You know, this guaranteed money. Okay, if you take the court, yeah, okay, we'll guarantee the money. Even if you suck, we'll guarantee the money. But you got to at least step on the daggone court for X amount of minutes a game. And it's so pathetic that's having to come to that we're having to say, look, just go out there and do your job, play. So many people would love to have this opportunity. And, of course, the foreign player who's probably the least likable person in the league, I could talk about all day, that's Joel Embiid. I do not like that guy at all. I try to avoid talking about him because I know I'll probably just go off on a big tangent. And plus, a lot of people have done it for me. $50 million a year to miss games, to not be healthy, to not to take the steps that he apparently needs to be taking to be healthy, to have a bad attitude, to play dirty, and to choke in the playoffs. $50 million a year. I get $50,000 a year to bust my ass. Well, I'd love to see him say something bad about America. Yeah, go to another country and see if you see that disparity. But like I said, load management, it comes with a lot of people too. You see, obviously LeBron does it, and that's another thing. The older generation, people are tired of them. LeBron, Steph, KD, they're still playing at a fairly high level. LeBron, we should be marveling at the fact he's almost 40. He's my age. He was born, I guess, 9 months after I was. We're both born in '84. And he's still doing great, but I don't want to watch it. I'm LeBroned out. I've been LeBroned out probably for over 10 years now. Ever since really his run to the Heat, it's like, okay, that's enough. And, they do load management. Kawhi and Paul George, good Lord. What that team could have done if they would have actually given a shit. There's no telling, but I guess we'll never know. But yeah, they've got to find a way around that, but yeah, Joel Embiid is definitely the poster boy for a lot of these issues I've put in there. Not having an exciting game, being a foreigner with a not exciting game and a not exciting personality, and quite honestly, an off-putting personality and an off-putting game. He's going to sit there and talk all this, but he doesn't play. He sat out his first 2 seasons after his draft because he was injured. And at what point do you say, okay, I need a new training routine. I need something. I need to lose weight. I need to gain weight. I need something. I mean, we're going to put this in perspective here. There is a little bit of stats that I wrote down here just to compare this. Who am I going to compare Joel Embiid to? Who else other than Michael Jordan? So Michael Jordan was drafted by the Bulls in the 1984 draft. And he played his first season for the Bulls in the 84-85 season. He played his last game for the Bulls in Game 6 of the NBA Finals that they won in 1998, at the end of the 97-98 season, in a game you might have heard a thing or two about. So that's, if I'm not mistaken, that's 15 seasons passed from basically what turned out to be the 85 season through the 98 season. It's either 14 or 15 seasons, I can't remember. Anyways, over that time period, now keep in mind, Michael Jordan, his second season, the 85-86 season, he missed almost the entire season after breaking his foot early and only coming back late and going into the playoffs and promptly dropping 63 points in Boston Garden, where nobody won. They didn't win, but they came a lot closer than anybody else did. And he just absolutely smoked that defense. If he'd have had a team around him, good Lord. So he missed almost all that season. He retired after the 1993 season, did not play any of the 93-94 Bulls season, and only played, I think, the last 19 regular season games of the 94-95 Bulls season. So that's pretty much 3 full seasons that Michael Jordan missed for the Bulls. So from the 1984-85 season through the 97-98 season, the Chicago Bulls in the regular season played 1,148 games. Michael Jordan played in 930 of those games, 81%. There's 218 games over that time period that he did not play in, keeping in mind that he retired, missing basically 2 seasons and had a broken foot that caused him to basically miss an entire season. Between the 86 season and the 95 season, I think he played combined he played like 30 games total and missed an entire season from retiring. He still played 81% of the games. Joel Embiid, 801 games Philadelphia's played since he started playing for them. He's played in 428 of them, 53.4%. He's missed 373 games. He has almost doubled missing as many games for the team as Michael Jordan missed playing for the Bulls combined from their 84-85 to their 97-98 season. That is crazy. That is insanity when you consider that Jordan took 2 years off and missed another year for the broken foot. That's just how much time Joel misses. That's not counting his first 2 seasons, I don't think. I'm pretty sure it doesn't count. He can't. Because it'd be even more. I mean, they say sometimes your best ability is availability. Well, if that's the case, then he has no ability. He has an MVP. He stole an MVP, basically begging for it. And then the racist media got on his side, saying, "Oh, they're only giving it to Nikola because he's white," even though he's a white guy from Serbia that the American public could really do with or without, just like we do with or without Joel Embiid. But we pretty much have the exact same attitude towards Joel and Giannis that we have towards Luka and Nikola. So you try to throw race in there, but no, that's just an excuse. So the NBA have definitely been willing participants in this dance here. They have not done themselves any favors, and I don't see anything on the horizon. Like I said, a lot of their newer talent, like Anthony Edwards, and I've talked about him in the past, I don't see them drawing well. To me, one of the big hopes, another one too, the Boston Celtics. Jason Tatum, they're really, really trying to push him as like the star, this must see. But I mean, he's good, but they needed Jaylen Brown to do all the heavy work in the playoffs to win their championship. He made it to the finals a couple years ago against Golden State, a very old Golden State team, and lost in 6. He disappears in the playoffs, and he needed Jaylen Brown. So, I mean, when the Celtics are not must-watch TV, when people aren't tuning in to watch them, we're not tuning in to watch the Lakers because we're all LeBron'd out, and we could care less about the situation of the son, which is a topic I really don't want to touch because, I mean, I get it. He's a father. He wants to play with his son. What's the son supposed to say? No, I'm not going to take this chance to play in the NBA, but the whole thing's just an embarrassment. The whole league's an embarrassment. So, pretty sorry to see, but still, at the end of the day, to think that a WNBA player, her games would outdo the NBA no matter how badly they're falling or how badly they're struggling. I will raise my hand that I did not see that coming ever. I never thought that would happen. It just goes to show you how much we like Caitlin Clark. Not just her and her personality, which, by the way, she keeps a lot to herself. Note to a lot of you players out there. This little social media thing, this little phone here you like touching the little buttons on, put it down. Or don't touch the buttons. I mean, goodness gracious. If Michael Jordan had social media, he wouldn't touch the buttons. He'd read everything bad said about him and go out there and probably average 40 points for his career instead of 30. I mean, goodness gracious. You gotta have the right mindset. And so I think she has the right mindset when it comes to that. She's, like not putting herself out there like that, like Angel Reese is, with podcasting and trying to be an influencer. But she's must-watch TV. Her style of play is exciting. It's fun to watch, unlike the rest of the WNBA. If I never have to watch another non-Caitlin Clark WNBA game, I'll be happy. Unless, of course, the WNBA says, you know what? We need to tailor our rules so that more people like her can play and thrive and succeed. Will that happen? No, of course not. But, one can dream. I guess that's always one thing you can say. One can dream. But, yeah, I mean, the NBA, they got to get it together, man. They're a ship without a rudder right now. And like I said, it's only going to get worse because at the end of the day, people like LeBron and Steph and KD, they're still drawing. Not as well as they used to, but they're still the biggest draws, and they're not going to play forever. Thank God for that. But sorry, a little editorial there, but I guess all things are editorials, but I guess you reap what you sow, and the NBA, they just took all this incredible goodwill. That's the thing you have to realize too. Steph Curry and LeBron and KD, they stepped into the league in the mid to late 2000s that was in good shape because of players like Kobe and Tim Duncan and just a lot of Kevin Garnett, a lot of these people that people just love to watch. People would tune in to watch, and now, I mean, it's just I don't want to watch any games. Maybe if my Charlotte Hornets were good. Yeah, I know, right? That's a joke. I think their record's okay now. Once they start playing some good teams, will be good. But if they were a contender, I mean, I'd probably tune in to see how they're doing. But even then, I don't know if I keep up with them religiously. It's not a fun game. It's so much ISO ball, no effort on defense, only from a few players. I mean, you just got to do better. And Caitlin Clark's out there doing better, and she's drawing better. And It would be nice to see her get about a $50 million a year contract, because she deserves it, but I guess the CBA won't allow that, because there's really nobody else in basketball in the WNBA that deserves more than they're making now, because, again, the WNBA is losing money. They'd be losing a lot more without Caitlin, though, so she deserves whatever she'd get, and they need to take a lot of money away from these NBA players. They've got to put it in their contracts. If you don't play, you don't get paid. If I don't go to work, unless I'm going to cough up PTO, which I usually do, which sucks, because I'm not missing it it's not a vacation. I'm staying at home because I'm miserable, but, you just got to, they're going to have to make some changes, because that's not a good thing. It's good for Caitlin Clark. It shows that her brand is probably the most on the rise in all of sports right now. Even the NFL seems to be plateauing a bit, but you have to see. I mean, like I said, until we get the Joel Embiiding of the league taken care of, they're gonna have a hard time regaining that. They're gonna fall to NHL levels, and nothing against the NHL. It's just the Americans just never really embraced hockey. That's not a knock on them. I have so much respect for hockey players. I've never really watched the sport or kept up with it all that much, but I have the utmost respect for them and what they do. I'm not here to knock them, but like I said, their brand just isn't worth a lot in America, because outside of a few cities, Pittsburgh, Detroit, there's not a lot going on there. They're fun to watch in person, though, if they can ever figure out a way to capture that and put it on TV, but that's another story for another day. So NBA needs to get it together, and Caitlin Clark, I mean, what more can you say about her? So thank you guys for watching these videos. Love you guys, and I'll talk to you soon.